Welcome to Module 5 Video 2, and let's talk about the short version of your story. Where can you use it? Well, what comes to mind, there are several situations, and the first one is networking event if you are in your own business or you are for some reason happen to be at the networking event with the colleagues or with the maybe whether that's the conference, etc. Or there is another situation where you might need your story. It's the job interview. If you are interviewing somebody or when you are the one who is being interviewed. And let's look at these two separately. Let's start with the networking setting. Networking setting, when you go, the key is, and this is important, please pay attention, the key is for you to not be the first person to talk about yourself. So find a way to ask first. So you initiate the conversation, and that pushes you a little bit to be more visible, and that's the whole idea of the program, to be more visible, to be more vocal about who you are, and be completely at peace and authentic and own it. So my recommendation, ask them why it's important. You are, I can predict, have more than one areas of expertise. If you are in your own business, you might have the clients that are, let's talk not hypothetically, let's take my example. My example, when I go to a networking event, like what am I capable of doing? I can take a signature custom song client and write a custom song for someone, especially if it's the business owner with a big company, because that's what I specialize in. Now, I can also take on the coaching client, somebody, if it's a woman who wants to start a business and still create the connection with the kids. That's my client too. Number three, people in transition who are not sure what they want to do and they still want to create the business out of what they love to do, not exactly what they were paid for before and it was draining their energy. Number four, it could be three or four. Okay. So the next client for me could be the person who is booking me as a keynote speaker. So there are several outlets for me to go to. Now, how do I address and make that compelling? By knowing what this person represents. So my goal is for him or her to go first, and once I know at least what is the zip code they're in, then I can share my story in a way that they will understand and relate to. And I have multiple examples about that, because when I can give you a specific example from last year. I was at a networking event and I was talking to a man and he was asking me, so what do you do? And I say, oh, I'm so passionate about coaching and I'm working with these moms, and this is exactly my marketing message. So pay attention. So this is what I told him. I work with women who put their big dreams on hold to raise their children, and they never really pursued their big dreams because they didn't want to lose the connection with their children. And so I help them to follow and succeed with their dreams while deepening connection with their kids. So that's what I told him, and he said, oh, that's nice. And then we keep talking and talking, and then I mingled with other people and so on and so forth, and we end up talking with him again. And he asks me, how interesting, so what else do you do? And then I say, well, I'm actually a keynote speaker and I love empowering people. So this is the coaching program, comes usually from speaking. And he says, now you got my attention. I said, why? Well, because I own the organization and we are constantly looking for the keynote speakers. Can you please send me your media kit? And that's how I got booked for the speaking engagement in that company. So since that's why I'm telling you, it's better if somebody else goes first. And your job is to be quick on asking them, what do you do? Now, let me go a little bit further and coach you a little bit on how to ask that question. Everybody's asking, what do you do? And it's boring, don't you think so? So stand up from the crowd and stand out from the crowd and ask them, what are you an expert in? First of all, you validate that the person has expertise in something, although a lot of people don't think they are capable of providing expertise, whether they call themselves professionals or not. So you boost their self-esteem, and that's, it's usually inspiring. So you are inspiring without saying anything about yourself yet. So bringing joy to people. When you go to the networking event, come with the intention not to get, but to give. And it's actually give and take usually, but be ready to give first and then receive. And so give the inspiration by asking a different question, a better question. What are you an expert in? Or I could sometimes ask, like, what is your line of work? I don't personally like what do you do, because I get it all the time. What do I do? And then you go, I mean, it's just it diminishes the value of the question to me, if I may say so. So, but the point is, you go second once you know. And once you know what your angle of your story, what the angle of your story you want to represent, then you touch upon credibility and vulnerability, but only after you, of course, reflect your marketing message.